Everyone's dreamed of being a superhero and they'd give anything to be Superman, but some actors have turned down this iconic role. Today, let's check out the actors who have rejected the Superman role. Let's get started. When Zack Snyder was looking for actors for a Superman movie, he thought of Joe Manganiello. Joe was even seen going to meetings with Zack Snyder and DC executives, but Joe was busy with the HBO series True Blood and he turned down the role. Another actor Zack Snyder was interested in was Matthew Goode. He had worked with Zack before in Watchmen where he played Ozymandias. Matthew even turned down a role in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter just so he could have a better chance of being Superman. But then, Zack Snyder and producer Christopher Nolan preferred Henry Cavill. Euphoria star Jacob Elordi was asked to read for the role, but he felt it was way too serious a role for him. He told GQ magazine in an interview, "Well, they asked me to read for Superman. That was immediately, no thank you, that's too much, that's too dark for me." Will Smith was also offered the role when Superman Returns was being cast. He was even sent the script, but Will rejected it. He told MTV, "The script came and I was like, there's no way I'm playing Superman because I had already done in Jim West and you can't be messing up white people's heroes in Hollywood. You mess up white people's heroes in Hollywood, you'll never work in this town again." But that didn't stop Will from starring in the superhero parody Hancock. This movie was more like what Will Smith had in mind because of its heavier theme and comedic influences. Josh Hartnett was considered for the same movie, but he too turned it down. Josh said, "There were a lot of powers that be that wanted me to pursue those films, but I've always been interested in stories about people and I didn't want to be boxed into that superhero type. This version of Superman was supposed to be a retelling of the origin story where the twist was that Krypton didn't go kaboom. Instead, it was ripped to shreds due to conflict." Josh Hartnett even turned down the title role in Christopher Nolan's Batman, but years later he admitted that he regretted that decision. Jude Law is another great actor who got a chance to wear the suit, but then he felt extremely awkward about taking on such an iconic role. He revealed, "I take the suit into the bathroom and I'm putting it on and I look around and I look in the mirror and suddenly I'm Superman, and the music kind of comes in. Then I have this picture of me in that costume and posters all over the world and I was like, no way, and I unzipped it, but I was Superman for 2 minutes. That was enough." So for Jude Law, just wearing the costume was enough and he didn't want anything more to do with the role. Paul Walker was also given the chance to play Superman after the Fast and the Furious series made him a household name, but then Paul Walker felt conflicted since it was a big role. He wasn't sure if he wanted the role only for the money or whether he really wanted to do it. After thinking about it, he decided to decline the role. One of the most iconic actors who missed out on the Superman is Nicolas Cage. In Tim Burton's Superman Lives, Nick Cage was one of the frontrunners for the role. He was called in for costume tests and he even donned the famous suit, but it never happened. The actor later told Variety, "It was more of a 1980s Superman with like the samurai black long hair. I thought it was going to be a really different sort of emo Superman, but we never got there." But in 2023, Nick Cage made a cameo as Superman in the Flash movie. Back in the 70s, Richard Donner was making his iconic Superman film. Paul Newman was offered $4 million to play either Superman or Lex Luthor, but he turned down both roles. Similarly, leading actors from that era like Steve McQueen and Robert Redford also rejected the role since they felt the role was bigger than their persona and they couldn't be themselves. Christopher Reeve took their place and the movie went on to make $300 million and spawn 3 sequels. And that's a wrap. Do you think it's strange that so many actors would reject such an iconic role? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.